no matter what people want.
Hey guys, it's your girl Alana here. Welcome back to my channel, 3 Degrees of Love, 3 Degrees of Love Divination. So if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining me today. Here I talk about social services. That has been my profession. I talk about my love of tarot and spirituality, mental health as a mental health advocate, and just about love, because that's really what this channel is all about. And it's who I claim myself to be in this lifetime, in this embodiment. I state that and I claim that because of the fact that just breaking down the word itself and what that means, and and just even how if we think bigger than just us as humans, and how humans came to be, right, and how we all got here. It's the very act that creates people, creates life and human life. And so being grateful for that, and and choosing to respect that always is what I hold near and dear, and with the at the highest degree, and with the the highest integrity. So that's me, and that's my channel, and what everything represents for me. I as I've being on this healing path and this healing journey, and especially given the state of society at present, I feel like and through my own observations and through the work that I've been doing and stuff like that, even from a personal level, is that love, although it's what we all are, we're supposed to all be created from, and many of us are, but we seem to have forgotten that along the way. It's what seems to be lacking, where we are in the middle of a global mental health crisis, after surviving a global pandemic, and the strategies that we are looking at, and sort of to get us back into and to ground us again, and bring wholeness and uniformity, not only just with ourselves, but with and connectivity with one another. So that has really been the inspiration for me in starting this channel, and just actually I think has really I feel like has been my calling throughout life. And it's what I've dedicated my professional work, as well as personally. It's what I hold near and dear, right, and value most, and that's love. And and one of the things too that as I continue to learn and grow and take part in this life, if you will, right? The more I learn about what isn't love. And of course we end up learning that the hard way, right? From and through experience, and and that's where the idea of where trauma comes in, and stuff like that. And the earlier that someone endures trauma, especially of the heart, the what's the word I'm looking for? The sooner that someone has been impacted, and and that sort of the then forced choice to for survival, if you will, right, as form of protection, usually is what follows us until we heal, right? And as you know, as most of us, and you know, and what I've come to, you know, realize, and just even from observation and diving into history, and you know, and doing self-reflection on myself, my own heritage, things like that, I come to, you know, to reason that the ways in which we have learned to adapt, the how we've come to learn and believe through exposure and sort of taught behavior, you know, love looks a certain way, and depending on, you know, your upbringing, depending on your heritage, your family history, whatever, right? The journey that you've taken in life, you know, you've been exposed to various different ways, and a lot of them might end up becoming very conflicting and confusing. And so when that happens, you end up, I feel like what ends up happening is we go into a form of protection, if you will. You know, so people build the walls around the hurt. They build, you know, but it's the walls are metaphoric. The walls, you know, can be mentally inclined and induced, right? And you know, when that becomes the case, the truth of what love actually is gets so convoluted and so out of whack, if you will, for most people, because the perception is completely flawed, right? Anyway, it's through therapy, it's through introspection, it's through meditation, it's through the choice to do the research and dive into you know, these things, that I am coming to realize and coming to see that, in fact, what I have been taught in the years that I've been alive, what has been shown to me, what I've endured, hasn't always been the truth of what love actually is. And if there's one thing that I can say I value most from my work with tarot, is the understanding through the major arcana and the archetypes, is that the lovers card, right, represents choice. Love is a choice. Love is a choice. It's a choice, right? And as I continue and you know, and all of that sort of registers in my head, right? And sort of diving back into my, you know, my Christian upbringing and you know, and stuff like that, and all the teachings that I remember from that, you know, is that, well, God is love. We come from love. We are all created equally in the eyes of God, love. So then, and if we're all pieces from that same one creator, whether you want to call it God, whether you want to call it the universe, it's really all the same. We're pieces of this whole. Every individual life is a piece of a whole, which is love, right? So and now if you you know, if we all come from the same one source and we're all right, then that means we're all love. So and again, sort of going and understanding the law of karma and understanding, you know, what, again, the teachings of you know, from my upbringing and which I, you know, value heavily, is that what we do in this life, or in life, right? Whether it's this life or a life you lived before or whatever the story is, okay? Will always, what you give unto others will always return to you, right? And when we were created, we were given free will for a reason. That's choice, right? And understanding the idea of good versus bad and evil, whatever. My understanding of evil, to me, is the equivalent to ego. The bigger the ego, the more allowance for evil to grow. We are all pieces of one another, right? We come from a whole solid. So, excuse me, if we're going with that concept and we understand that, right? Sort of taking sort of a broader approach or broader perspective, taking us out from our individual bodies and seeing the bigger picture, if you will. We are all pieces of a whole. And any one time that we believe that we are entitled to something more than someone else, we tip the scales for everyone, because understanding the choices we make has a rippling effect, right? We you know, what we choose always will affect ourselves and each other. So the minute we decide or our ego gets inflated and we believe that we are more deserving of something than someone else, or because we have whatever, because we were in a state of lack, and we believe that, you know, we can't control time, essentially, right? We can't control time. The only thing we really have control over is individually is ourselves. Control of our thoughts, control of our actions, control over our choices. All right? Okay. So that means that if I somehow view myself as being greater than or bigger than or more than, you know, regardless of what the relationship is, you know, and or even when we're in a natural state of authority, or in whatever capacity that may be, right? Parent versus child, you know, boy versus girl, whatever, okay? Whatever the dynamic is. When there is a physical or a visual difference, and we now use that as a reason or a means for ego inflation, and we use that as being as the vehicle for why we are believing that we are deserving of something more than someone else, or that we are or that we have the power to demand from someone else something that we know we are entitled to, we tip the scales. We tip the scales of karmic justice, right? For everyone. You know, so, so to me, when I think about all of that, and I think about, you know, it sort of, I feel like I set myself up for failure, right? If at any point I embody and believe that in my head and have that sort of overinflated ego, and this is how I see it for being for everyone, right? Because if we're all product of a whole, right, then we're essentially, as humans, are equal in mind, body, and spirit. The outer facts, right, being gender, age, religion, whatever the story is, right? Regardless of those differences, we are all from a whole, and as humanity, so we are equals. And if I'm love, then you are love, right? And we are to give it, essentially, if, again, it's a choice, right? It's still a choice, but understanding the laws of karma and everything else that, right, as I've said, then if I choose to give love appropriately and equally to others as I want for myself, what I give is what I will receive in return. Love isn't a death sentence. Love is not a life sentence. Love is love. We are love. I am love. My channel is all about love and healing and embracing and connectivity and learning and teaching and supporting one another. That is what my channel is about. That is my goal for my channel. It always has been. It has always been. I've always led with my heart, and I will always continue to. Because at the end of the day, that's what keeps me alive. This is what keeps me going and my body to function. So mental health is health. Mental health is important. And part of my healing practice is therapy. I devoted my professional career to social work and stuff like that, because to me, I value human life, and human life is important because it is love. And we choose to bring life into this world. And it's our choices that decide its longevity. It's our choices that decide the quality. And our brains are what power our bodies. So respecting it and respecting those of others should be our number one priority. I, Alana Banana, am love. That's my pronoun. What's yours? Until I see you again, don't forget to live, listen, and learn. If you like my content, and I have so many exciting ideas and things that I want to bring to the channel and want to, share and discuss, further. If you haven't checked out any of my other videos, I do encourage you to check those out. One of my most favorites to date is the one that I recently did with the beloved Priscilla over at A Life of Simplicity. And that's the one we did about therapy and tarot. I encourage you to check that out. I do have other videos dedicated to, discussion of mental health with some wonderful creators out there of tarot and oracle and stuff like that. And, I want to continue this, in being able to uplift, ourselves. This is part of my healing, practice as well, and being able to share with you, like this is something that makes me feel good, makes me feel like I am I have a sense of purpose again, and I hope that through this, you will be inspired to live a life, of love, and to shine brightly, and to be open and honest, and to learn how to love yourself and others the right way, and not the way that we've been taught over the years, over several generations, and really be able to get back to the root of it all, the root of our very existence, because somewhere along the way I feel like we've lost that. And I don't know about you, but every day I'm thankful for my life. I'm thankful for who I am. I am, and you know, I thankful for everything that I am. You know, and everything that shapes and makes me who I am. You know, my history, my you know, familiar history, and all of those things, you know. But I know that there's more to, you know, to what is in my immediate history. You know, we as beings have been on this earth a lot longer than, you know, than any of us probably, you know, really realize. So, you know, getting back to that is, you know, is definitely something that I value, and you know, and that inspires me, and anybody else who is doing that, you know. So, you know, with that being said, I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. You know, if you want to see more of my content, especially when it comes to tarot, you know, definitely follow me over on Instagram. And I hope to see you again, and we'll talk again soon. Until then, live, listen, and learn. I am love, and so are you. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.